how was this challenge? You'll be seeing a picture of it now on your screen. How was that not a red card? In fact, how is it not a yellow card? How is it a drop ball?
So how the ref has deemed it as no action, a drop ball is beyond me.
If he gets sent off there, Stoke have what, 60 minutes with extra players on the pitch? Stoke could have
Yeah.
won that game.
When things went bad is when we were controlling the ball in the first half. We just couldn't get that punch through.
But when Beijano came on in the last 20 minutes, he was passenger, didn't even know he was on the pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think the goal we conceded as well, if you look at it, I was raging at him. I was like, what are you doing? You're just looking at the ball.
Sometimes we're trying to make it look a little too pretty, a little too tippy-tappy, so on and so forth, rather than just saying, right, put some welly into the bloody thing and nail it.
Hello and welcome back to another podcast episode of Stoke Fan TV with myself, Max.
And me, Sam, yes, I'm back for my party.
I was just about to say, Sam, back. Where have you been, man? You've been partying, have you? Well, Stoke have had a good start to the season, haven't they? So I'm guessing you've been at Stoke and near enough top of the league parties, right?
Yeah, it was my birthday weekend last weekend, Max, so I did have quite a few drinks, I will admit.
Well, you see, I don't know, I don't know if it's like you've had the same issue I've had, Sam, but I've had the Premier League calling me. I mean, we all have it, mate. We all have. Come on, let's get ahead of ourselves. Anyway, I don't think. Anyway, we've got to get into the show, and obviously we lost, didn't we, the last game? But today we're also joined by Hoppo, and we're joined by all the way from Canada, Mr. Alan down there in the corner as well. Gentlemen, welcome back to the show. I really appreciate you coming on. Now, I just want to start off by saying this. Now, you might be thinking you want to come on the show. The whole point of doing it like this is we get fans on the show. In fact, I was at Abbots Bromley, which isn't like massively far from where I live, and a couple of blokes came up to me and they said, hello, we've seen you on the show. I was like, well, you can come on. And the whole point of these Zoom calls is that you can come on the show. So if you want to come on and get your point across, ping us a message on Facebook. Go find us, Stoke Fan TV on Facebook, and drop us a message and say, yeah, I want to come on the show. We generally do it Sunday afternoons, Mondays, that kind of time. Yeah, ping us a message. Right, let's get into it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, by the way. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Stoke lost. Stoke lost 1-0. One of them games, I think. It must have been one of them games. And the title of the show, though, is how was this challenge? You'll be seeing a picture of it now on your screen. How was that not a red card? In fact, how is it not a yellow card? How is it a drop ball? Huh? How is it a drop ball? Massively major talking point to talk to you about. But before we get into that particular incident, I want to get views on the game. I'll start with Hoppo. Hoppo, views on the game, mates. One of them games, just one of them, or was Stoke not at the races?
Both really. I think it's one of them games. It's always difficult ground for us to go there. I don't think we've got a great record, to be honest with you. We drew there last year and we had a goal disallowed. So it's one of those grounds we kind of struggle, and I think it's the setup of the ground. It's quite small, tight, and it's really, real difficult. But yeah, it was just one of those today. We looked lethargic to start off with, and quite early there was two, three, but missed passes and normally off more reliable players, and one that nearly cost us a goal off Bates.
I was going to say Baker. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was one of those. We didn't really get going. We seemed to be a little bit lethargic. We didn't fancy the early kick-off, didn't fancy the journey down to London. You can get these games, it's going to happen, and it's probably a true mark of where we really are. If we are serious about going up this year, I mean, we've got to be. You're not going to win every game, but you've got to be more consistent with your performances. And if you look against West Brom, you're very, very similar. They nullified the game a little bit, and I think QPR too did that yesterday. But we still had chance, we still had opportunities. So there's some positives, but there was some negatives yesterday. Yeah, it was a little bit disappointing in a lot of aspects of a play, where to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think we were unlucky. We were unlucky, weren't we, Al? Do you think we were unlucky? I mean, like we could have easily snatched a goal. I mean, Al Manu missed that 2-yard header. I don't know, and he's not renowned for his heading. And then Creswell at the end as well, like having the ball cleared off the line. We come close, didn't we? Come close.
Yeah, we had our opportunities. I mean, did we have as many opportunities as I'm going to say normally create? No. I think, to be honest with you, the game yesterday was much like Hoppo, what you said. It was kind of a mirror image of what we had at West Brom, right? It was a very close marking game. I mean, they didn't back off of us for a second. The moment we had that ball, we had zero space. So we tried our nice, crisp passing, and they were getting picked off all the time. So we started to go a little more long range passing, going out 15, 20 yards with the passes, and they were getting picked off as well. So I think, realistically, I think the loss is a good loss, is the best way for me to put it, because I try to find the positives in everything. We learned, I think Mark Robbins and the coaching staff learned a lot yesterday about having to be able to adapt during the game versus, a more open game versus a very close set game. And I think, we need to make some adjustments, whether that's formation, starting lineup, I don't know. But when we're going up against a club, eventually we'll come up against Oxford, and that's the way Rowett plays, right? So we have to be in consideration of that. But as far as our attack goes, it seemed a little soft yesterday, was the best way for me to put it. I think the refereeing was less than adequate. It was very substandard, but we're going to have that, right? And that's the thing. You have to overcome those challenges, right? It's we can sit around and we can moan about the lack of a red card or a yellow card or even a foul, but at the end of the day, I always try to say, okay, well, I'll give the ref the benefit of the doubt. He didn't see it, but he obviously did see it. He was standing right there and watched it, which is absolutely absurd why there was a drop ball to us. I don't get it. But that said, overall, I think we were soft yesterday. When they started to shut us down, instead of changing our tactics, instead of changing the formation, we kept trying to do the same thing over and over again. And that, if I have one concern about the game, it would be that we didn't do enough change, right, to
influence the game
for us. Yeah.
I mean, right, okay. Let's just address the elephant on the pitch, which was that tackle. Because Sam, you've seen that tackle, mate. There's a lot of fans seeing that tackle. What do you think? You look at this picture. I mean, man, that picture just. But a drop ball for that, Sam. What do you think, mate? Was that?
It's a good job, yeah. It's a very good job he didn't have them tiny little shin pads on that some of these players wear these days, because if he had, that'd have been a leg breaker. That's all I can say. Like, a lot of these players nowadays, you see them wearing these small shin pads. If he was wearing them small shin pads for that, that'd have been a lot more serious than it was. Now, yes, the referee was stood right next to it. If the referee didn't see it or he was looking the other way or something, then that's on him. It's definitely a foul, and it should definitely be one of them ones that the EFL look at and then give him a ban retrospectively for doing that foul.
I mean, it was madness, really. When you look at that, I mean, obviously we're watching the game and it looks like he comes through as well. So there's more to it. It's not like he's just lunging in. I think, did he go after the ball, or was it part of a kick or something like that? But it's more the image when you see that image.
No, it might have been an accident. Like, obviously a player never goes out there to injure another player. And the player that's made the tackle has obviously made a mistake here, but he needs to be punished for that, really, because it was a drop ball. I don't know how the referee's giving it a drop ball.
That's bizarre. I find that a bit weird. You know, how much does that affect the game, Sam, for you? Like, if he gets sent off there.
If he gets sent off there, Stoke have 60 minutes with extra players on the pitch? Stoke could have won that game. You'd have thought, anyway, you can't say for certain, but we'd have had a lot more chance. Now, going back to the whole performance on a whole, I didn't see the game. I was busy, I couldn't watch the game. I've been reading all the comments on social media about it, and it seems like Alan Hopper have summed up the game as a whole perfectly. So I don't need to go into that anymore. But I think 6 games in, Bristol are currently losing to Oxford as we speak. This is being filmed on the Sunday. We're still second in the league after 6 games. So do we need to maybe not be as negative about the situation and actually try and be a little bit more positive? And look, Stoke is second in the league. Like, I wasn't expecting Stoke to win at QPR yesterday. I've never Stoke have played QPR loads of times over the seasons. I've never gone to QPR thinking we're going to get anything from QPR. So I think we should just brush this off. Look forward to the next game against Norwich. It's a community game, so we should have a full house, loads of people in there, cheap tickets, get behind the lads, and hopefully we're still second after that game.
Hey, look, I think it's testament to how well Stoke have done this season to start with that we're also disappointed in the fact that we lost that game, to be quite honest with you. I'm not trying to be negative by any stretch of the imagination. And I'll be honest, I think we're unlucky. I really do. I think, like, on another day, that ball at the end that Cresswell gets cleared off the line, that's 2 yards higher and it ended up in the back of the net. Another time, Manu has been training for a lot longer and can head a ball, and then it goes into the back of the net. Rather than, I mean, how he's got that wrong? I don't know. But we've seen it. We've seen it before. He's not the first player, is he? He's not the first player to go through that. Oppo, what the positives then? What the positives from yesterday's game, Sunday's
there's always,
Saturday's game?
yeah, always positives. I agree with Sam. I think it's more frustration than negativity because the expectation levels are up now because everyone can see we've really improved. We've had a great start, and there's probably the expectations there a little bit more than they would have done in previous seasons. So I think a little bit of probably frustration because it was a game we could have won, and easily we could have got something out of that game. There was Presley's one and other opportunities like Millie should have scored 100%. So, but for a lot of positives, like I say, a little bit,
What were the bits?
some
What were the
negatives.
bits in that game that you think swayed it? I mean, obviously, we've just mentioned a tackle there. Is that a huge turning point for you or
Of
not?
course it is. Yeah, no, 100, always a card or a sending off is going to be a turning point. Sometimes 10 men can get something. We did it at Southampton. We had 10 men and we ended up winning the game. Saying we would have won the game yesterday, but if you consider the player that should have been sent off, and I've just been reading the laws on it, it constitutes a yellow card. It's serious foul play, tackle, or a challenge that endangers the safety of an opponent or uses excessive force must be sanctioned as serious foul play. That's serious foul play. I'm not a qualified referee. I know it's a difficult job, but it's serious foul play. He's got no control on the challenge there. He could have, like Sam said, snapped his leg. He's made a mess of the leg, apparently. So how the ref has deemed it as no action, a drop ball is beyond me. But you consider after that, there was a challenge when the Divine is through and the same player has pulled him and we give a foul. That player's off the pitch if the ref did it by letter law. That could have been a different outcome, And so, yeah, them moments do matter. Absolutely do. And I'm sure with 10 men yesterday, we nearly got something with that performance yesterday. So really, I think the 10 men out, I would have seen us. They may have gone more defensive, made it more difficult, but I would have seen us getting something definitely.
Yeah, I think. Look, what do you think, Stoke fans? Let us know in the comments. I'm sure many of you got much to say about that tackle. You've been on social media talking about it, and in an easy job, is it reffing? It is an easy job, and then the talk comes up of should we have a replay showing that and for them to see what we've seen, and then the ref to say, well, actually, I did make a mistake. Here we go, it's changed. Let's open that. Let's open that debate up, eh? That'll
VAR.
Let's spoke about VAR. We spoke about VAR too many times.
Let's
it
get that
would have been
going.
a rad. VAR would have been a rad all day, every
Yeah.
day. They'd have analysed that. It'd been a rad. He'd been off. I mean, without question.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, Al, you mentioned there, obviously, you've spoken about that incident as well. But what could Stoke have done differently? Okay, let's move on from that. It's happened.
Mhm.
What could Stoke have done differently, or where did the game start to go away from Stoke? Was it the substitutions? Was it the tactics? Was it the misses? What was it that just took the game a bit away from Stoke? Because for me, I don't know what you guys all felt. For me, I thought in that first half, in fact, probably up to that Million Manoof chance, I thought we were well in the game. I thought we'd go on, maybe even nick it. I know they had chances, but we were having our chances as well. What changed, Al, for you?
Well, for me, I mean, I look at the stats from the match, and we had 65% possession, right? Okay, so we were passing it around the back and the midfield a lot. Our final third was our struggle. When you look at 65% possession, and you see we had 7 shots, 1 on target. So again, it's that final third, right? We didn't have. I'm not going to say it was the quality. I'm not going to take anything away from Obama. Even from Manhoof, who you guys know I'm not his number one fan, right? But I will give Manhoof credit. The last few games, he's been a lot more heads up. He's had his eyes moving. He's passing the ball. He's making those forward passes. He's getting, he's not as selfish anymore. Sorba did really well. But here's the thing. Yesterday, the reality is QPR just literally, they defended so well in that final third that I could see. So what the turning point for me is in that first half, you could see us struggling in that final third, and it kind of started to unravel. You could see a bit of the frustration on Divine. Divine was getting a little bit, he was getting a little bit chippy as well, right? Which he normally does. I mean, Mabama is not a small guy, and he'll definitely get involved, and he'll take on the center backs. And he was getting a little chippy yesterday. You could see the frustration on Sorba's face. You could see the frustration with Manhoof. So realistically, I think when you really look at it, QPR had 35% possession, had 14 shots, 7 on target. Right? That's where, for me, when things went bad is when we were controlling the ball in the first half. We just couldn't get that punch through to get the ball on target on a consistent and regular basis. So, and I mean, for me, I mean, obviously I'm not a football manager in any way, shape or form, but that's almost like do you bring on a taller striker and do you start lumping that ball over the top? I mean, it's a horrible tactic to try, but it's not about how you win the game. It's literally, when you're professional football, it's whether you win or lose, right? It's about those 3 points. It's not how you get them. You have to get them. So that's where I think yesterday, I mean, my frustration mounted watching the game, not frustrated at Stoke, just frustrated at the situation that we couldn't punch that ball through in the final third. So for me, it was within the first 30, 40 minutes that that first half that we were just struggling with that. And you could see the players' frustration with it. And that's where I think it fell apart, because we have a lot of confidence. But when you have a lot of confidence, you have to make sure it's not easy to break. And that's where I think we lost our confidence in that final third. That's, Manhoof missing that. Yeah, Cresswell shot, like you say, literally 2 centimeters higher, and that thing's in, right? It's just, there was some bad luck. We had a few strokes of bad luck on our side.
Definitely reminded me of the Baggies game. I mean, we debated the Baggies game, we debated that situation in the box where it could have come off his hand. That could have hit the back of the net. We've been on a couple of them. We've had a couple of them, Stoke, this season. We've been on the right side of a couple of them as well. That Southampton away game. There's one I'm thinking where they hit the post twice or something. Any other day of the week that goes in, and we're debating a draw or a loss. So I think we have to count that. We can't not. But there was definitely times in that game where, it was funny because in the first half, I think you're right. I think we were struggling creatively in a way. They nullified our wingers a bit in that first half. They really did. They were hot on Sorba. When we got the ball, they're closing him down. They knew the threat was coming from out wide. I still need to bring up this debate. We still, in my opinion, we're not utilising number 10 role very well. we still don't, for me, seem to have somebody in that number 10 role. I know that we started play Baker there, right? We started play Baker in that number 10 role. And fair enough. And I thought that when Rigo was on the pitch, I thought Rigo, Pearson, and Baker were working okay together. I don't think it was Baker's best match by any stretch of the imagination. But when Beijano came on in the last 20 minutes, he was passenger. I didn't even know he was on the pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, like I think the goal we conceded as well. If you look at it, I was raging at him. I was like, "What are you doing? You're just looking at the ball.
Yeah.
Go close him down. You've got a player to your right. Just you're back in that place. Go mark him. Stop ball watching, man. Come on." I know I've been critical of Bay recently. I'm sorry for all the Beijano fans and the fan base that are out there watching. But I've got to say he needs to step up a little bit. He needs to start thinking, well, what's my role at this club? I'm not saying you don't run around, but you need to switch on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
What's Donnelly done? What's Donnelly done not to get on the pitch? Really, what's he, I'm not sure what's he done? Is he upset? He's upset Robin somehow. He's not getting any game time. There's also the argument that Bosun Llewell could have been moved into that central midfield area, and then we could have brought on Phillips or Maxi. Sam, what do you think, mate? That number 10, well, that number 10 role, man, or do you think, are you excited to see Galley back? Do you think Gallagher can come in and do something about it?
I think you're 100% right about Beige on Ho needing to step up. I think I mentioned it a few shows ago. I even suggested him going out on loan, if you can remember rightly.
Yeah, and you got some flack for that, but the more people watch him play,
Yeah.
thinking, well,
I've heard somewhere that somebody wanted him towards the end of the transfer window. I don't know if anyone else has got any more information on this, or he perhaps wanted to leave, but he wasn't allowed to.
all rumours.
I'd like to see him step up. If it even does mean still going out on loan to get that form back or that confidence back that he came to Stoke with. Because when he was first at Stoke, it was this big hype. He went off, he was playing with his national team. There's pictures of him playing with Son and all that at the national setup. And the Korean management team were coming out and saying how good he was and he's going to be the next Son. He come back from that international thing that he did, and he hasn't really done much since then, really.
I'm
It's
with you on that.
it's a conundrum. It's a conundrum. I mean, what two players I'm going to mention just quickly? One's Nzonzi. When's Nzonzi back? Or when's Nzonzi going to appear again for Stoke? Hoppo, do you know anything about when Nzonzi's coming in?
I think for Enzonzi, what I've read, but I might not be right. I think Galley's due back on the bench or back in the squad playing this week, this Saturday. Enzonzi maybe another week or two so behind him. So maybe after the next international break, we start to see Enzonzi, I think.
Yeah, come in.
Yeah,
He could come back in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I think he'll have something to
And
when it's tight, you need somebody to break that defence. He's got that ability to open the defence up with a good pass. So yeah.
I mean, Galley as well. We got to mention Galley. I mean, we're going to see him back. I mean, what's going on there? Is another one.
He's injury prone, isn't he? Since he's come to the club, and I don't know what his record was like at Blackburn, but yeah, he's just had one injury after the other. It's one of them can happen, can't it? Happen to any player, It's I don't know if it's what the reasons are, but whether it was that at Blackburn, I don't know, but maybe a bit more due diligence before he signed him if he is injury prone. But hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? But
Yeah.
there's no doubt Galley's a good player. No doubt he's talented. He can impact the game, but his injury record's been terrible, really.
Well, what do you think to it, Stoke fans? Those things we just mentioned. Let us know in the comments. I just want to do a quick shout out to Cisse. I thought I liked it when he came on. To be fair, I liked his style. He's quite direct. He's willing to try and skip past players. Got a bit of pace on him. Granted, his eyes lit up at one point when he was about 20 yards out and he thought he was going to leather it into the top corner. And I think Sorba Thomas let him know that he should have passed it to him. But I don't mind. I don't mind players that are going to run at players and take them on and shoot. That can't be a bad thing. In fact, one of the things I was saying yesterday was, wouldn't it have been nice just to get the ball in and around the box, 20, 25 yards out, and try and hit the ball? Just try and hit the ball, man. But where the days gone of forward players who can hit the ball from 20, 25 yards and put it in the top corner? Do you know what I was watching on Facebook? I was watching a highlights ring come up on one of like a Facebook reel of Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank goals for Chelsea back in like 98, 2000. Most
Oh,
of his
yeah.
goals were from like 20, 25 yards, and they were screamers, like top of the top corner. Do you know what I mean? This is proper. You gotta finish from there. Where's the days of that? You know, because how many goals would we start scoring if we just hit the ball? Bakes, I know Bakes can hit a ball, but who else can
Yeah.
hit a ball? What?
Well,
Anyway,
Cisse can. Lamine Cisse can. I mean, I've watched a lot of his highlight reels, and I actually was able to watch one of his old games that was recorded. And he loves taking those shots from 20, 25 yards out. And he has an absolute cannon of a leg.
right.
He does. So, and, you know, the old saying is, we used it in hockey, is you'll miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, right? So, and that's the thing. I think sometimes we're trying to make it look a little too pretty, a little too tippy tappy, so on and so forth, rather than just saying, right, put some welly into the bloody thing and nail it, right? I mean, it's
Well, people keep comparing the Arsenal of now to Stoke. So are we just like the old Arsenal? And we're always just trying to, you know, the problem with us is we're trying to walk it in.
yeah.
You know, I don't know. I don't know. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Right. Okay. We're coming up to the end now. Honestly, we'd love to stay and chat your ear off for the rest of the day. But we are running out of time. Thank you to everybody on the show today. And guests Hoppo and Al. Thanks, chaps. Much appreciate your continued loyalty to coming on and chatting Stoke. I know it's sometimes a tough ask to come on and waffle on about Stoke for 20 odd minutes, but we always manage it, don't we? We always manage it. And like I said at the start of the show, if you want to come on, you know, and sit on via the Zoom link, you don't need to download Zoom or anything like that. We'll just literally send you a link, and you just need a bit of free time, and we'll ask you questions, and you know, Sam will tell you about his various hair dyes that he's had over the years, and that's it. You know, that's it. So just get onto Facebook, Stoke Fan TV, ping us a message and say, "I've seen your show. I want to come on," because it's all about getting as many Stoke fans to get on, talk about it, get your opinions. I know you're all on Facebook commenting. I'll see you all on Facebook commenting. So come on the show and do it. Right. Well, we'll try this. We always try this ending, and usually 99% it doesn't work. But that one might be that 1% day. So it's goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from them. And there you go. I knew it. I called it. That 1% we're going to happen. Going to happen. No, thanks everybody for coming on. It's great to have Sam back. You could be back, Sam. You feel like you're fresh now from your partying or your Morris dancing, your metal detecting?
Yeah, I feel a year older, I'd say. For my birthday.
Mate, how old are you?
28.
I'd say you
Oh
don't
my
look a
God.
day. You don't look a day over it, mate. You don't look a day over it. You look good. Right. Right. Okay, everybody. We digress. We must go now. But don't forget to like and subscribe if you've made it this far. You've done really well. And we will see you all on another podcast episode of Stoke Fan TV. Go on, Stoke.